Okay, let's get started. Pops, good girl. Now Poppy's joining in today as usual. So, just finding a nice comfortable seat, whether you just ground through the sit bones a little bit, just making sure that they're in contact with the floor. And just have a little roll of the shoulders up, back and down. Maybe do this a couple of times, just releasing any tension in there. And then take a big inhale, squeeze the shoulders up, squeeze the face, and exhale. Let it all go. And you might do that a couple of times as well. So inhale, squeezing in, even the fists perhaps, exhale. Let them go. Just find a little bit of length through the spine, but shoulders away from the ears. Let the knees drop as wide as they can. Just close the eyes. And just allow yourself to land here this morning. Just taking a moment to connect the sit bones to the ground. Just noticing that length through the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head. And then just tuning into the breath. So guiding the breath if it's not already there, going in through the nose, filling up the belly. And as you exhale through the mouth, let the belly draw inwards gently. Inhale, belly rising, filling up like a balloon. Exhale, belly falling. Oh no, Poppy's got the squeaky ball, hopefully she won't squeak it. And as you inhale, imagine drawing that energy from your sit bones and beneath all the way up through the spine to the crown of the head and above. And as you exhale, draw that energy and breath down through the crown and through the spine to the sit bones and below. Inhale, rising that energy through the spine, to those central energy channels, the chakras. Moving freely between each one, and as you exhale, draw it back down, flushing out, releasing, letting go, imagining anything that needs releasing just entering through the sit bones into the ground and being pushed down into the earth, released into the earth. So inhale, draw up goodness from that earth energy, imaginary soil beneath us. All the way up to the crown of the head, and as you exhale, draw down, flushing out, releasing like fertilizer back into the earth. We might not be sitting on the earth exactly, but we can tap into that energy, drawing up the goodness, releasing, letting go of anything we need to let go of. Inhale, rising up through that central passage, Shoshana, and exhale down. And then just allowing the breath to be anything it wants to be. Sorry, Poppy's chewing her chew on my mat, of course. So just start to take your ear to one shoulder, take a little stretch. You might press the opposite hand down towards the floor to increase that stretch. Take a breath here. And then just draw the chin towards that opposite shoulder so we get a little stretch down the back side of that neck and shoulder. And then just almost as if we could look up and over, so keeping ear to shoulder and looking up and back. So we start to stretch the front of the neck. And then just come back to center first, ear to shoulder, and then come through to neutral. And over to the other side. So ear to shoulder first, you can press the hand away if you want more. It might be too much to do so, you can just relax the arm, but pressing down if you want to just increase that stretch a little bit. And then we're looking down, chin towards shoulder, keeping ear to left shoulder is the side I've gone. You might go on the other side. And then just starting to look up and back, keeping the ear to the shoulder, lifting the chin backwards, almost as if we could look up and behind to the opposite diagonal corner. And then as you come back to the center with the ear to shoulder, then come back to neutral. Good. And just take a couple of little looks over the shoulders and just notice the rotation in the C-spine today. Is it tight and tense through the neck, or is there any catching or tension anywhere? And we're going to do a basic reset for the vagus nerve. So if you've never done this, you can lie down and do it. If you're happy to do it seated, then trying it seated. So interlacing the hands, just taking the hands behind. I think most of us have done this before anyway. So we're going to keep the head where it is, and we're going to take the eye gaze to our right. So we're looking as if we can sort of see the end of that right elbow, or maybe even beyond it if you're kind of feel that that rotation of your eyes is good, but we're looking over to that side. We're waiting for a sigh, a swallow, or a yawn. And wait until you get any one of these. I just yawned, so I stifled it so you wouldn't hear or see. Or maybe just saying it got you all going, well done. And then back to centre. Just try not to influence your yawns. Back to centre with the eye gaze. And then looking to the left. So we're waiting for a sigh, a swallow, or a yawn. And it might be different this side. It might be quicker or take longer. If it hasn't happened, just keep looking to the right until one of those things happen, and then you can come to the left side. I think we're all in time this morning. And then looking back, and then my eyes have got a bit cross-eyed now at the centre, so don't worry if that happens as well. Release the arms, just let the eyes be central for a second, let that settle. And then take another little look over the shoulder, and hopefully you'll feel a little bit different. And might notice some loosening, or maybe you can take the eyes further around, or you can see further behind you. But that's just a nice, really basic way of resetting the vagus nerve. You can do it as many times as you need throughout the day. Ideally, if you ever get dizzy, do it lying down, but obviously seated works as well, as long as you find that you're okay with that. So let's roll onto our all fours, remove some dog toys and a dog.
What you doing? You being a good girl? Yes. You can stay down. There you go. What's that?
So onto all fours, just finding hands underneath shoulders, and we'll start with a bit of cat-cow. So just starting to dip the spine, lift the tailbone, and lift through the collarbones. Press the floor away. Lift the chin up if it's accessible in the neck. And then as you exhale, press the floor away, round down through the spine, tuck the chin into the chest. So we'll inhale as we lift up, and we're exhaling as we're rounding down. So just moving between the two in your own time, and just feeling into those movements. Maybe you like to keep it smooth and mobile between the two. Maybe you like to almost hold at the end of each movement to just feel into that end of range. Inhaling to lift tailbone, lift collarbones. Exhaling to round and press the floor away. Yes, it's a plane outside, Poppy. I heard it too. Yeah. Thank you. And then just come back to neutral, so looking over one shoulder, bring that tailbone to the same side, nice side body stretch, and then over to the other side. Have a little wriggle side to side, maybe one breath for right and left, inhale, and then one exhale for right and left. Just moving between the two. And then, if we can, we're combining both moves, so circling the head in one direction, tailbone in the opposite direction. If it's all too much, just wriggle and freestyle here, moving the spine in any and every direction that it can go. And then release, working the other way. And then just come back to center with all forwards and just let the eye gaze settle if it's a little bit dizzy. So tucking the toes under and just sitting back. You can bring the knees a little closer or touching and just sit into stretching the bottoms of the feet. So we might stay there, we might come up a little higher, we might come all the way back and sit onto those heels if it feels okay. Take a big inhale, reach the arms nice and wide, and as you exhale, place one arm over the other, give yourself a big hug, and then maybe wrapping to find eagle arms if that feels accessible. So we're going to inhale as we lift and look up, and as we exhale, we're rounding, drawing down again, that cat-cow movement from before. So as we inhale, we're lifting. As we exhale, we're drawing elbows in towards the midsection of our body, rounding upper back. Inhale, lift, hopefully feet can still stand the stretch. If you need to untuck and flatten the tops of the feet down, you can. Exhale, round down, just hold, maybe pause, maybe even pause with the breath. And then inhale, release the arms, give them a shake. So we'll go the other way. Big inhale, open. Exhale, other arm on top, give yourself a big hug or wrap to find eagle arms. Beautiful. Inhale as we lift up, opening. Exhale, drawing and rounding down, elbows in. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round down. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling, rounding down, and we'll just come into that little pause, maybe pausing with the breath as well, that external retention, and then inhale and release. And just let the tops of the feet go so that they can come onto the mats. And again, you might just sit to stretch through the fronts of the shins and tops of the feet, or you can come back a little bit, open through the chest, and maybe even hover the knees. Oh, can't do that much today. Poppy. Can't do that much today. But if you can, lift those knees up, you can. Oh gosh, her whole bed's going to end up on my mat. She never uses her bed. Sunday morning's the only time she uses her bed. Okay, and then bring the chin to the chest and walk yourself forwards and find your toes tucked under. Lift the hips up and back and find that first down dog. So just walking your way into that first down dog. You might have a little pedal of the heels, a little wriggle of the hips. Head nice and relaxed, dangling on the end of the neck. Little wriggle side to side. Oh no, another squeaky toy. Really? Obviously didn't get enough playtime on her walk this morning with all her friends in the park. So just letting yourself find some stillness in that down dog. Head dangling. And press the floor away, push the hips up and back. Big inhale, side out, let it go. And then walk the feet to the hands or step in and just come to that halfway lift. So a little long, flat spine, and then folding, soften through the knees if you need to, and just find that dangling pose, grabbing opposite elbows. Just allow head to dangle heavy, maybe a little swing and sway side to side if that feels good. Allowing the spine, the back, everything to let go and release. And then with those arms or elbows interlaced still, leaving them over the head, lift up through that flat back, keeping the arms overhead. So as we come up, we'll be here, and we're just going to take a little side bend, just finding that nice opening banana shape. Inhale through center, exhale over to the other side. And as you come back through center, just release those arms round and behind you if that feels okay, kind of pulling off that energetic jumper. And we'll start some movement. So just coming to the tops of the mats, spread the toes, and just get comfortable in that grounded position, feet and toes spread, little gap between the heels, close through the big toes, shoulders down and back, squeeze of the glutes, soft knees, palms wide or inwards, whatever feels good for you today. Open through the collarbones, a little lift through the crown of the head, and just take a moment to stand tall, maybe close the eyes, grounding through those feet, just noticing if you can feel any energy, any fizzing, any bubbling, or any kind of remnants of that electrical charge that's throughout our body at all times. Can you almost draw it to the feet, through the feet, and ground into that earth beneath you? And then just blinking open the eyes. Inhale. Sweep the arms up, palms to touch overhead, extended mountain, and as you exhale, tip from your hips, dive into that forward fold. Inhale to the long flat back, and exhale to fold. So walking, stepping, or if you feel ready to jump, jump. You've got a dog to kick in the way, no. And then you can drop knees if you need to, hovering down through chaturanga. As you inhale, lift to cobra, or up dog. And then press it back or hips straight up to down dog. Can I have your paw? So just finding your breath in your down dog. Head dangling heavy. Oh no, I've lost the ball. Keep breathing in your down dog. Did it go underneath the desk? One more breath here. And then look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump, feet in, come to that halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Sweep the arms widen up. Palms touch overhead and exhale to release. Surya Namaskar. One more time. Inhale. Palms touch, exhale, dive, tipping forwards from your hips. Inhale to the long flat back. And exhale to fold. Walking, stepping or jumping back to plank or chaturanga. Hovering down, inhale to lift, cobra or up dog. Exhale to press it back to down dog. So just finding your breath in your down dog. Head dangling as always. Press through the arms and hands. Long through the spine. Breathe. No. No. Very cute, but no. You get it. Good girl. I don't want it. You get it. Look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump the feet to the hands. Come to that halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Sweep the arms wide and up. Palms touch. And exhale to release. So sitting straight back, coming into Surya Namaskar B. So we might stay here with the arms, we might lift up, tuck that tailbone under so the spine is long and flat. Shoulders down the back of the body. Beautiful. One more breath. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, long flat back. And exhale to fold. Walking, stepping or jumping back to plank or chaturanga. Hovering down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, press back to down dog. So left foot turns 45 degrees, bring the right foot through or give it some help if you need to get there. Inhale, lifting, pressing into those feet to our warrior one. Beautiful. Making sure hips and shoulders are square to that front edge. Shoulders down and back, breathing. Stay for one more breath. And as you exhale, frame that front foot, step it back, hovering down. Inhale to lift cobra or up dog. Exhale, press it back to down dog. Right foot turns 45, left foot comes through, pressing into feet. And sinking into that left knee, squaring off to the front edge of your mat. Beautiful. Oi, no, can't demand. You get it. No, don't you bark, no. Good girl. Well, you could see her face. She's got the big eyes. She's like, play with me. Hovering down on the exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, peeling up. And exhale, press it back. So just find some rest in this down dog. Find your breath. Slow it down. One more breath here. Get it, Pops, quick. And then look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump feet to the hands. Come to that halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Sweep the arms widen up, palms to touch. And exhale to release. Beautiful. So just with feet hip distance apart, finding our forward fold. So maybe a little back bend first. So squeeze the elbows behind, draw the shoulders back, squeeze the bottom forwards and lift through the hips. And as you exhale, tip from the hips, finding that lovely fold. And we might hook onto those big toes with our peace fingers, making a little circle with our thumb, drawing our elbows wide, or we can just let the arms dangle if that feels better. Drawing the chin towards the shins. No, you get it, Can't reach it, you get it. Good girl. This is a game for yourself, Pops. One more breath here. Untuck fingers and toes, coming halfway up, we'll place the palms of the hands under the soles of the feet, coming back down, bending the knees as much as you need to, drop the head down, and wriggle those hips higher if there's room. And find your breath. Maybe those long, sighing exhales to release. Untuck fingers and toes, come to the halfway lift, and then come all the way up. Draw the shoulders back, stepping back in. Lovely. We're going to take our revolved triangle. So our right foot's going to stay forward, and our left foot's going to step back, but keep the hips and shoulders square to the front edge. So as you lift the left arm, we're reaching forwards, tipping from the hips, keeping that spine nice and long, and then taking the arm on the outside of the right leg. So we might stay here with the right hand on right shoulder, or we might reach that right arm up to the sky if it feels accessible. You get it, Pops. And front leg, just a soft bend if you need to. And find that breath. Always harder in our revolved movements to find the breath. And we're going to cartwheel open those arms as we inhale. So lifting up, sweeping round, just pivoting on the feet. So our left foot becomes our front foot. Reach the right arm up, tipping forwards over the front leg, and then taking the back of the hand on the outside of the left leg. And we might stay here with that left hand on the hip, or we might reach up and revolve a little further. Get it, Bob? So playful this morning. One more breath, and as you unravel, coming up, just pivot the feet to the front of the mat, big step in, finding your samasthiti or mountain pose. So with the left foot, just take a little step back, so a shorter step, half of what you did before. Keeping the hips nice and square, and we can just hold the wrists behind, or the forearms or the elbows, or we can come to that reverse prayer. Might need to go downwards, or we might be able to bring those fingertips to the spine, the little fingers, and come upwards. So as we fold forwards, tipping from the hips, find that long flat back. We might stay here, kind of 90 degrees. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, see if you can fold forwards, keeping the spine nice and long, and the chin is drawing towards the shin. Keep trying to press those palms of hands together. Work those little shoulder muscles and upper back muscles. Really important for our posture, especially these days. Finding ourselves more hunched over and rounded over things. See if you can wriggle your toes and free them up so they're not gripping. They can grip, but just not overly and unconsciously. Oh no, the ball's gone under the sofa. Really? Silly girl. There's two balls under there. One more breath. On the next inhale, lift with the crown of the head, and then we'll pivot the feet so our left foot becomes our front foot. Right foot, just a slight turn out. So as we fold forwards again, we might use just that long flat back, or we might exhale further into the fold, which feels more difficult on the side for me. Just noticing if there are those differences side to side. Keep pressing both hip bones back squarely. Find your breath. One more breath. On the next inhale, lift through the crown of the head. Pivot back to the front. Just gently, carefully release the shoulders and arms as you do so. Give the shoulders a roll and release. It will shake out and find your Tadasana. So coming into a wide-legged fold. So step nice and wide. I'm just going to find her balls because she's staring at them both. There's one. Oh no, there's a cat outside now as well. That's not what we need, is it? So just finding a big inhale, stretching nice and wide. As you exhale, fold and tip from the hips. Find that folded star feeling. Then another inhale, and as you exhale, continue to fold all the way down. You might land the hands on the outsides of the feet, or you might land the hands flat on the ground if they reach there in front of you. So thumbs close or touching if they're there. Squeeze the elbows towards one another and use those arms and upper back to draw the head down between the hands. Crown of the head reaching towards the hands. Hips lifting up high. And just find the way into the fronts of the feet. So breathing here, active upper body, drawing that head down, trying to relax the lower body to let the stretch happen. Long sighing exhales. One more long release. Let go. Come up to just the halfway lift, that flat back, and then hands on the hips, coming up further to stand. So option to take the ones we've just done again, or interlace the hands behind the back. So as we fold over those interlaced hands, arms will come over, dropping down as we fold. If shoulders get sore here, just release the arms carefully and place them on the ground or dangle the arms. So really let that head dangle. Those long exhales, remember every time we exhale, those muscles will momentarily relax as well. Whole body will relax in the exhale. One more breath here. So on the inhale, use the head, use the arms to lift up and back. Gently, carefully release elbows, arms, shoulders. Give them a roll. And if you feel okay to jump feet in, you can, or just heel toe the feet back in. Coming back to stand, give the legs a little shimmy and a shake. So let's balance. So finding your left foot and grounding through the foot and just landing there. And draw up nice and tall through the spine and draw the right knee up to the chest, and you might hug that right knee in. So we're going to prepare for standing half lotus, and if you prefer just to stay at any point you can. So maybe you stay here, maybe you grab that foot, trying to keep the knee in line and draw the foot behind so we get a nice stretch and open through the front of the thigh. And then as we come up and back, we take the knee wide, bring the foot wide, and then bring that foot into the hip crease, heel into hip crease. Keep hold with the left hand on the toes, right arm wraps round. That right arm is aiming to grab hold of those toes. Otherwise we're just staying nice and upright. Alternative here is tree, just bring the foot to the inside of the thigh if that feels better. Good, so keep breathing. Lifting tall, fix the eye gaze. Somewhere that's not moving. Awesome. Remembering for our balance, we can always hold something if we need to, or stand with our back against the wall gently to find a little bit of support. One more breath here. So carefully release arms first, foot, ankle, might need a circle, knee might need a rub, and then just release the standing foot. Just circle over the toes, over the ankles, just releasing here. So spread the right toes, ground into that foot. Lift nice and tall, and then bring the left knee to the chest. So hugging in, and again we might stay At any point of the preparation moves, try and bring that foot back in line as you bring the knee down and foot to the bottom. And then as you bring the leg back up, roll the knee wide, lift the heel away to almost to the opposite hip before bringing it into the same side hip, then the opposite hip. So keep hold with the right hand on the toes, left arm reaches around, maybe it's creeping down the forearm to get hold of those feet one day, maybe it's just in the elbow crease. Keep lifting tall through the spine, breathing, smiling, finding that inner balance and inner calm. One more breath. And then gently, carefully release. And release the foot, release the ankle, toes, knees. And just circle round the standing leg to release. Beautiful. So we will take our hand to foot posture as well, standing. So again, ground through the left foot and bring the right knee up. So option to just stay with the knee bent throughout the whole series here, or we can straighten the leg and support underneath, or we can hook onto the big toe with our peace fingers and extend the leg. Keep that chest lifted and tall and proud, and crown of head lifted. Breathe. One more breath with the leg out straight, and then we'll take the leg wide, whether it's bent and you're supporting a bent leg, or you're lifting, or we've got some sort of weird bent straight leg going on. Breathing. I'm sure my leg's not long enough, my arm's not long enough. Come back through center, lift through the crown of the head, press the leg through the thigh to keep lifting tall, try not to lean back. Breathe. 3, 2, and release. Give that leg a little massage if it needs, a little shake out perhaps, and we'll go to the other side. So ground into the right foot. She's given up, she's gone to the sofa. Bring the left knee to the chest. So you might stay here, you might straighten and hold underneath the thigh or the calf, or hook onto the big toe to straighten the leg. Lifting up nice and tall, finding your breath. Beautiful. Use that breath. Take the leg wide. Keep lifting tall. Press into that standing glute to find that straight line down the whole right side of the body. Keep breathing. It's not easy. It's not meant to be. Lift the leg out in front. Release with the hand if you can. Squeezing the toes back. Thigh engaged. Not leaning back but lifting tall. Ooh, and release. Can feel that on that side. Give that leg a little massage. Shake your legs if you need. So just coming back to the fronts of the mats. Draw those shoulders back and down. Find Tadasana or Samasthiti, just opening through collarbones, crown of head lifted. Big inhale, side out, let it go. And let's just take some cleansing breaths here. So we're going to inhale, fill up the belly, and as you exhale, through pursed lips, imagine you're blowing out lots of candles. So it's going to be strong and short exhales but continuous exhales until there's nothing left. And we're going to roll and fold down as we do so. So inhale, fill up, and then so we're just kind of rolling halfway down to really squeeze and release anything in the belly and the diaphragm, and then stand back up. So same again, inhale. So it's cleansing because we're releasing everything we can through those exhales. Really squeeze the very last bits out of that exhale. Come back up, take a few breaths. Last one. So big inhale. So we're really squeezing the last bits out and then come back up to stand gently. Just find a couple of normal belly breaths there. Just notice how that feels. Weirdly, I feel like I'm smiling. I'm not sure why. But just cleansing and releasing, so that's nice. So, inhaling. Reach the arms up, palms touch as we exhale. We'll dive forwards, tipping from the hips. Poppy into that forward fold. Inhale to the long flat back. And exhale to fold. Walking, stepping or jumping back through plank or chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Poppy, stop. Big cow. Exhale, press it back to down dog. So from here, landing one elbow at a time, so almost walking down onto the elbows, bring them in nice and close so they're in line with the shoulders. And then just walk the feet in, we're in dolphin pose. So the head is off the ground, we're pressing the floor away, working through those shoulder blades to find strength. If you need to, bend the knees, cradle the head and just come into a little gentler version of an inversion. Otherwise we're in dolphin breathing. Difficult pose. Find that breath. Then drop the knees down. Cradle with the hands, the back of the head, and walk the knees underneath the hips. So we're just in that gentle version of being upside down and inverted. And we might just stay there. Just enjoying a few breaths. If you have room at home and you've got space and you know you're not going to roll, or if you want to go up against a wall or a sofa, or you're happy with headstand, option to try that now. So tucking the toes under, we might just take the weight on the head and just walk forwards, a bit like the dolphin pose, just cradling and taking some weight but pressing the forearms into the back to the floor so that the back of the upper back is working to hold us. Or we're thinking about hovering one foot off the floor or both. Maybe taking some headstand type postures if it feels good. So wherever you are, if you're in dolphin is another option. We might come back to dolphin to work the upper back. Maybe you're in a headstand. Wherever you are, under control, just lowering down and sitting the bottom back, hips to heels, and letting the head drop down into child's pose. So we don't lift the head too quickly, we just start to bring the body back to the head's level. And then maybe just start to slowly roll up, lifting the head. Coming up to all fours. And then we're going to walk or sit our bottom down and swing the legs round, or option to take some bunny hops here, if that's in your practice, big or small, and then jump the feet to the hands or through the hands and come to a seated position. So just grounding through the sit bones when you get there. Lovely sunshine's on my face. And pull those toes back, squeezing the thighs to really lift the heels and lift tall through the crown of the head and chest open. And just find Dandasana, our staff pose or our L shape. Spread the toes, work the feet. Breathe. Maybe close the eyes. Sweep the arms up. And then let the heels land, and as you tip forwards from the hips, folding, wherever the arms float down to is fine. So they might be on the shins, they might be over the toes. Maybe hook onto those peace fingers around the toes again and draw elbows wide as you fold, like we do in our standing fold. Trying to keep that spine nice and long. Folding from the hips to feel it down the back of the legs. Poppy. Big cow. One more breath here. And then gently, carefully release fingers and toes. Just walk yourself back up and just draw the right knee in and give it a nice squeeze into the chest. And draw the foot wide and then lift the heel away and place it to that inside hip crease. We're coming to our seated half lotus. So we can stay here and we can take the same version as we did standing, wrapping the right arm round, keeping hold with the left hands, or trying to find those toes and fingers to bind to. Or we might take a little half lotus modification by bringing that bottom foot underneath and bending into the knees and working towards pressing the knees nice and wide. So the heel is underneath the opposite knee and our other heel is in our hip crease. So that might be enough. We might be working on pressing the knees wide. As we do that, we can fold forwards and we might start to get a stretch into that, whichever leg's on top. The right leg with that right hip will be stretched. And we might fold further in to really feel that stretch. So elbows might reach floor, you can prop the head. If you're further down, you might just stack the fists to prop the head. Maybe you're further up and more seated upright, and that's okay. Just tipping from the hips to feel the stretch. So it doesn't matter how far we go into any movement, it's about finding where that range is. So actually being up here is just as much a stretch as if I roll the upper back down, because I'm tipped from the hips and that's what's causing my stretch. So breathing into that right hip especially. As long as the knee and ankle feel okay, you can always just come to an easy cross position with the legs if this is not working for you or too much. One more breath. And then gently, carefully walk your way back up. So with that top leg, just release it gently and bring the foot to the front of the ankle, opposite ankle. So tuck that ankle in and bring that right foot in front. So we're going to take a little twist. So our left arm is going to wrap around our right knees. We're twisting towards that right leg. So that might be where you stay hugging that knee, or the elbow might come to the outside to get more of a twist. And we're working on using our core to lift us up here so we don't need the back hand. And we're trying to get that shoulder as close to the knee as possible. Now if the shoulder and knee are nice and close, you can reach that left arm forwards and wrap it round. And it might only hook halfway onto the foot. It might wriggle all the way through to find the back thigh. And then this other hand can reach round and we can try for the bind. I haven't quite got it today. So finding the breath wherever you are. Keep twisting, keep breathing, keep lifting. One more breath here. And then gently and carefully unravel. And just take a little counter twist. So just come around to the knee that's on the floor. Just a little bow down towards and come back up. So let's take that all on the other side. So the left foot is underneath, right foot out straight, I'll get it right in a minute. Left knee hugged into chest. So have a little squeeze. Draw the knee wide, lift the heel away and bring that heel into the hip crease of the opposite leg. So we're trying to get it nice and high up. And if that doesn't work, just bring it slightly further forwards if it feels like it's not going to be comfortable there. There might be uncomfortableness around knee and ankle. As long as it's not pain, that's okay. Left arm reaching round, and we can stay here for the Ashtanga variation, or I like to get into those hips, so bringing that right foot underneath left knee and working at pressing the knees wide. And this side might be stiffer or tighter in hips or knees, or you might find that you can go a little further. So just folding into the side if it's there, folding down to find your breath, sending it into that left hip this time. Letting it relax on those exhales. So a modified half lotus. We know we're ready for full lotus if our knee touches that bottom foot, or if we can wriggle that bottom foot out the way and the knee can get close to or touch that floor, then we can bring that top foot up into the knee crease and then we'd be in full lotus. I'm not going to do it today just because I know my knees and hips are a bit tight, but just to show you where this is headed, if you didn't already know. So then gently and carefully as we come up, just release the left leg of the ankle, a little circle maybe, knee a little rub, poppy, stop, wait. So bring the foot, right foot in, and left heel will be on the front of the right ankle. And we're using that right arm to hug the left knee, and we might just be trying to pull the knee under the armpit. That's our kind of beginnings of our twist, and we're lifting tall to twist. We need to make space. If we're all crunched round, twisting is really hard. So with a tall, long spine, we can twist further and find more space. So that might be where we stay. We might bring the elbow to the outside to gain a little bit more strength to work into the twist further. Or we're trying to bring that shoulder nice and close, so then we can start to ravel the arm round. And we might hook halfway, we might go for the full bind if we're there. Trying to keep both sit bones grounded. Breathing. Poppy. Stop it. Sorry, she's cleaning. Yes, you. One more breath. Gently and carefully unraveling and just taking a little twist, counter twist to the other side. And then coming back up. And then just allow the feet to be a little bit wide as the mat, and windscreen wiper the knees side to side. And then bring the soles of the feet together. So again, grounding through the sit bones. Poppy, seriously. Bring the feet in nice and close. Use the thumbs to open the soles of the feet like a book and lift nice and tall. Oh, you're going to come sit there. Interesting. And then as you fold forwards, keep the spine long. Oh, hi. No, don't look at me now. So folding, maybe using those elbows to press the knees wide. Finding one more breath here. Gently and carefully coming up. Don't want to come up, I've got a little cuddler here. Yes, a little cuddly girl. Yes. So then just start to roll yourself onto your spine. And you can roll down super slowly, feet hip distance apart, working those core muscles as we roll. So tuck the chin in, super slow, roll down. We are going to lie down for the next little while. If you do want to grab any layers, do so now. If you need socks or jumpers as we're starting to come into that slightly cooler weather. Otherwise, when you get there, find a full body stretch. Press the heels away, press the palms away overhead. Full body stretch. And then hug the knees into the chest, give them a big squeeze in, a little roll side to side, just massaging that lower back across the floor. And then hands on tops of the knees and just guide the knees out and round in circles. So just feeling into those hips. And then reverse your circles back the other way. And then just straighten out that left leg. And hug the right knee into the chest. So give it a big squeeze in. And then we're going to walk the hands down the back of that leg or hook onto the big toe with the peace fingers and take that right heel up to the sky, but keep pressing the left heel along the mat. Try and ground the left leg as much as you can. Left hand on the thigh to encourage it to stay low. Keep breathing and then start to take that right leg out to the side. Finding that reclined Y balance, trying to keep both shoulders, both hips as grounded and square on the mat as you can. Find your breath. And then as you come back through center, lift the head, neck and shoulders and try and bring your knee and your nose towards one another. And then as you slowly lower down, just take the back of that right knee and then just roll that right knee over to the left side. Keep trailing your right hand behind you And just look over towards that right arm so we get that full body twist, full spinal twist reclined. Just allow your body to let go of any tension in the spine. Maybe feel the chest and shoulders stretching. Just find your breath here, slowing the breath down. And then gently and carefully, slowly release the hand if you're holding the right leg and just roll back through center. And just lift the hips, land them back onto the floor. And then hug both knees in, just give the knees a little circle. Just notice the difference in the sides at the moment. So my right hip feels very different to my left, having done all that stretching into the hamstrings and twists. So land the right leg down. Hug the left knee into the chest and give it a nice squeeze, and that might be where you stay, or walk down the back of that leg, or hook onto the big toe with the peace finger, so extending the leg. Oh, as you can see, mine's very bent, but it doesn't matter, we're still getting that stretch in the hamstring. Pressing the heel to the sky, keep that right leg long along the mats, keep the toes pulling backwards on both feet, active through the back of the leg on both feet. We're strengthening even the little toe and the arch of the foot here if we've got that little hook going on over the toe, because we should be pushing the toe into the fingers and the arch is being engaged down the arch of the foot, plus the whole back of the leg. And our pelvic floor, there's a connection between the arch and the pelvic floor. You might even think about pulling the pelvic floor in and up gently. Mula bandha, one of the bandhas. Yoga bandha just means a lock, energy lock in an area. Mula bandha being our root chakra, our area between the legs. So just lowering the leg out to the side. Keep that right leg grounded on the mat as much as you can. Find the belly breath. Keep shoulders and hips grounded. Slowing that breath down. And gently, carefully bringing the leg back to center. Lift the head, neck and shoulders. Knee towards the nose towards the knee. And then as you gently release the left leg, bring that left knee over to the right side and trail the left arm, looking to that left hand so we get that full reclined twist. Lots of ways we can do this. If we don't sort of shuffle at all, we end up on the very outside of the right hip, and then there is a gap between the back of my right shoulder and the floor, and that's okay because gravity's working to stretch it there. We can kind of align ourselves. We could pull our right shoulder all the way through so that the left shoulder does land down, and then as you can see, the knee lifts. So just playing around there if you want to, or just enjoying whichever version you're in. All the little subtle changes will just change where we're stretching through the lower back or the upper back or the mid back. So then just allow that left leg to roll back through center, let the hips land. And then hands on the knees, just circling those knees and hips again, and just checking in with the hips and noticing, hopefully both feeling equal again. And if there's any final moves you'd like to take before landing in Shavasana, now's your chance. If you're ready to just allow yourself to take that final asana, final resting position to assimilate practice. Allow the body to just recalibrate, taking all that goodness in from our practice today, and just landing the whole back of the body onto the mat. Closing the eyes, just make sure shoulders are away from ears, relax fingertips, backs of hands rested on the ground. Eyes closed, mouth maybe just gently parted at the lips, breathing in through nose, out through mouth, or in and out through nose. Eyes relaxed, closed, not scrunched. Forehead relaxed, eyebrows relaxed. Chest open, belly rising and falling with breath. Hips wide and open, legs rolling wide, toes rolling wide. No tension in the feet. Just allowing the body to be as relaxed as possible here. Full permission to let go. Being held by that earth energy that we tuned into earlier on in the practice. Fully held, fully supported. Nowhere to be and nothing to do and nothing to be. I'm just going to read you a little passage from a book called Everyday Enlightenment, Walking the Path to Happiness in the Modern World. It's called The Uncommon Path. The way is in the heart, from Buddha. It is good to take some time to contemplate your life, both its ups and downs, to remember just how precious life is, appreciating everything we do have, rather than worrying so much about what we think is missing. I encourage you to take in the scenery of your life and of nature and contemplate all the wonderful friends and loved ones you have been fortunate enough to walk with. Try not to load yourself down with your cares or your expectations, but step lightly, enjoying each day of the journey. Take your time, don't rush, and you'll soon notice what really catches your attention, what inspires you, and what matters. Your heart knows the way. So just tuning into maybe that beating sensation, that thumping, thudding sensation in the chest. Our strong, beautiful hearts. They do have their own nervous system. They have a knowing, an intelligence within them. Their own brain, if you like. They do know what we want and which path we want to take. Just tuning into that now. Maybe if it feels good to place the left hand on that heart center. Listening out for any whispers of the heart today. Gently and carefully start to bring awareness back into the body, maybe wriggling your toes, wriggling your fingers. You might circle the ankles, circle the wrists. You might start to take a full body stretch. Maybe hug the knees into the chest. Just rolling on to whichever side you feel called to. Just taking a moment curled in a ball there. And just walking up to seated position. Maybe keeping eyes closed or just keeping that head bowed down. We'll just close the practice with a couple of breaths and one on. Just taking a big deep inhale, belly rising. Exhale, let it go. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Inhaling to Om. that resonance of the symbol and sound of totality. Namaste.